So you just got a Steam Deck and you need games for it. I'm gonna show you the ones I'm playing right now, the ones I'm grabbing next, and the must-haves every Steam Deck owner should have in their library. That way you can play your favorite games anywhere, even while taking a dump in the Target bathroom. The following games are games I have on my deck that I think are worth a download, and I'll go over some others that I plan on getting that work great as well. First of all, the Steam Deck is an indie games powerhouse when it comes to what it plays best. Of course, I have Hollow Knight. You could watch my video about how that game made me fall back in love with my Steam Deck in the little link up there. Hollow Knight is one of the best Metroidvania games and runs amazing on the Steam Deck, and it's cheap. And after years of waiting for its sequel, Silksong finally released last week, so of course I immediately downloaded it on my Steam Deck. Silksong is another game that deserves its own video, but for $20 and hours upon hours of gameplay, this is probably my biggest recommended game to get first for your Steam Deck. Continuing with the indie games, I downloaded Stardew Valley for myself, and my wife ended up taking it over, making her own farm and playing it for hours. Stardew Valley is another one of those top tier indie games that brings those cozy vibes where you want to wrap yourself up in a blanket on the couch with some tea and play your Steam Deck for hours. This is another cheap game I highly recommend grabbing, and it doesn't take up a lot of storage, which is good because you'll run out fast once you get to the beefier games. The last indie game I want to go over is, of course, Balatro. Balatro is a poker-like rogue game where you have no idea what you're doing, and then the next thing you know, it's been months of you trying to beat it with crazy restrictions on your decks. Balatro has won many awards since its release and is definitely tied with Hollow Knight when it comes to the best indie game you can get for your Steam Deck. There are tons more indie games out there for your device, but I'll save that list for another video. These next games were huge AAA titles back in the day and actually take up like no storage and will cost you close to nothing to get. I probably have every version of Skyrim from its original release on PlayStation 3, its Game of the Year edition for PS4, a Switch copy, and for some reason, multiple PC versions of this game. When Skyrim came out, it was like mind-blowing how big and detailed the world was. Skyrim actually runs great on the Steam Deck. It's one of those massive games you can't believe is playing on a handheld device when at one point in time you were worried it was going to melt your PS3's GPU. I got the Skyrim Complete Game of the Year edition with all its DLCs for like $20 back in the day, but for some reason it's $40 for the special edition on Steam. So if you've never played Skyrim, it's really worth buying when it's on sale. The Oblivion remake or remaster, whatever you want to call it, also came out a few months ago. I don't think I can recommend it to the average person who doesn't want to tinker with settings to make it actually playable. It really ruined my Steam Deck experience because what should have been an easy to play game ended up being extremely laggy and looked horrible. This is something to do with Unreal Engine 5, and again, I can't justify anyone getting it for their Steam Deck, but it's on mine to get footage for videos if I need it. I also have older AAA games like Sleeping Dogs, which was like Rush Hour meets Grand Theft Auto. That game is always on sale, and I think I got it for like $4. Half-Life 2 is also another one of those bigger AAA games that is always on sale for like $1, and then obvious must-have for your Steam Deck. Borderlands 2 I got for free, and although people claim it's full of Chinese spyware, it runs great, and let them spy on my stuff. I look at some nasty corn videos. The Dead Space remake is another amazing older game I have on my Steam Deck, and one I think any horror game fan should definitely get for their device. I also have and love playing the Resident Evil 4 remake on my Steam Deck, which is another classic AAA game that is usually on sale for $20 and really runs smoothly on this handheld. All of these older titles are great, but what about newer games? A lot of AAA games today don't really play that well on the Steam Deck, but don't let that get you down, because there are ways to tinker with settings or add mods to make them bearable to play. Hogwarts Legacy and Tekken 8 are two beefy ass games I have on my deck that I would normally play on my PC. When I first downloaded them, they both ran like ass, but luckily the Steam Deck community is always on top of getting the best settings to have these games run better. Once I dialed those in, both games ran much smoother, and even at 30 frames per second, they look great as well. They are worth a download if you have the space and want to try to take them on the go, but I couldn't fully recommend it if you don't want to have a little lag here and there. And some other bigger games I don't have on my Steam Deck at the moment, but are going to eventually get soon, are Baldur's Gate 3, the Elden Ring games, Cyberpunk 2077, Doom Eternal, the Spider-Man remaster, and God of War. These games always go on sale and are great newer beefier games you should get if you want to push your Steam Deck's potential. Well, there you have it, a long advanced list of games I personally own and play on my Steam Deck, which I think you should get for your new device. There are obviously a ton more picks for indies and newer games, but this video would be like an hour long if I listed all of them. So do your research on what it is that you want to get and make sure it actually runs on your Steam Deck. There are also other games I have like Genshin Impact and World of Warcraft on my Steam Deck, but those types of games have to be downloaded and installed in desktop mode. Something a casual gamer might not want to do, but just know it's possible and they both run great. Although it's a few years old at this point, the Steam Deck is still an amazing handle that can play tons of your favorite games. This list was just the tip of the iceberg, so if you did just get a Steam Deck or are looking to beef up your library, you have tons of options to choose from. Just make sure you get them on sale because those tariffs are not helping anybody out, and I don't know who we're fooling here. Alright, well, did you just get a Steam Deck? If so, what games are you looking to play? And if you already have a Steam Deck, what games do you typically play on yours, and what games do you wish you could play on yours? I know that there is a handful of them that I would love to take on the go, but it's not possible. Make sure you share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe. Alright, goodbye.